Hey, what is going on YouTube? In today's video, as I had said in the last video when we installed Open Project, in this video we are going to install another project management tool that we're going to check out. And as I said before, I'm trying to figure out which one I'm going to use, as I manage a few different projects and I want a centralized location to kind of get a view at this, and I want it self-hosted. Otherwise, I could use something like Jira or Trello or the other project management solutions that are out there. But I do enjoy having it in my own environment and not having it exposed to anybody else. And also a little bit more customization on my end and as far as administrating it goes. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and install Vikunja. If I pronounce that right, I'm not sure. In this installation, it is actually pretty straightforward. What we are going to be using is a Docker compose file. What that will do is, with one simple command with the various services that we have defined, it will bring up all three of these services and put them inside of a Docker container. And then we are able to access that from our host machine by reaching out into our Ubuntu server that is hosting this Docker container. So here's the Docker compose file. You could all get this through the website. I will also post it in the description below. I simply just copied and pasted it. There is some configurations that you can make if you do keep this as your own solution. In this case, I'm just testing it out to see if I want to use this or go back to Open Project. It's kind of a toss-up right now, and we're going to take a look at it in another video, comparing the two and see which one fits my needs. So with that being said, as I said, you are going to copy and paste this in. So here's the various services that are going to be associated with this entire solution. So under services, we have database, and in this case, we are running a Maria database. They do have other options available, such as Postgres and I believe MySQL. Yep. And so here's some options within the environment that is defined. Again, I'm leaving it all default, but you got the root password, the user password, and the database that are all defined here. The volumes, so this is going to contain a persistent volume. So every time we take down this container or we shut down this server, we are able to log back in and access the information that we had set previously. And if we keep going on down, we have the API service, and it's going to grab this Vikunja/API, and it's going to again define the various environment variables. And then we have our volume, our persistent volume within the files directory. Depends on database. So if database is not running, this will not run, and therefore this entire solution will not run. And lastly, the most important, well, in order for us to access this and perform a number of actions, we will need a front end. And so again, it's going to pull it down, and then it unless stopped is the option for restart. It's also going to have a reverse proxy, as with the configuration down here. And again, it depends on the API and the front end. And here's the persistent volume, and that's going to be that. And then we have the ports 80 and 80. The next file that we have to define is within the I'll show you on the machine how this is all broken down. But again, we have the configuration file for the proxy. So it's just server listening on port 80. It's going to proxy, it's going to pass it to the front end on port 80. So anytime, if it's not an API call, if it's not calling the API, it'll always get passed through the UI for the front end. Again, all of those files and information is on their website, which will be posted in the description below. But if you go ahead and list out, I just created a quick directory on this Ironman server, which is our test server, just to kind of play around. And in there we have the two files, well, one file and one directory. Here's the Docker compose file I just discussed, and here's the proxy directory that we just talked about as well. And then all we have to do from this point is literally just run Docker compose up-d. If you do not have the Docker with sudo permissions, you will have to run sudo, or otherwise you will get permission denied, as you see here. One thing that I will note, for whatever reason, if you had ran this before, the cache is for some reason messes up the installation. If you come in here and you do not use like a incognito browser, you might get some weird errors. So I just find myself running incognito or clearing the cache, and I'm able to get into the login screen. And all I did was head over to the IP address, so 192.168.1.103, which is not the IP address of the Docker. In fact, it is the IP address of the Ubuntu server that is hosting that Docker container. And then in here, you're going to go ahead and create an account, as we do not have an account yet. Simply just fill out these fields here. I did admin, admin@admin.com, and the password of admin. Create the account, and there we go. We have the cool looking llama, and we are logged into Vikunja. Just to kind of get a quick overview of what we will be using this for, within the open project video, if you want to go check that out, we did the installation and we just performed one function within that solution, which was creating a task and a project for that task. So essentially what I want to do, one of the things that I want to do is have a way to manage my YouTube video ideas. So if I have an idea, I could jot it down and come back later, and then if I want to record it, go through the various steps or the board, the steps within that board, so I could get a better way to track my ideas. So if we go to projects here on the left, go to new project, and let's create a new project called YouTube Ideas. And we will change it to the color of blue, and we will create it. Similar to Jira and the other solutions that are out there, we're just going to go to a Kanban or Kanban board here at the top, and then we could create our various, in this case, buckets or lists. And here we'll say recording. All right, so now we have the various buckets or lists within this board, YouTube Ideas. So we have our ideas, recording, edit, upload. And now if we go into add task, let's say we have a video idea. We could add that task, and we'll add another one. I tend to come up with a lot of ideas. And then we'll go click on video idea number 1. In here, we could edit our description. And we will save that. And then we have the various options that are here on the side. We could subscribe to it so we get notifications. We can assign it to a user if there's any. Add labels is a good one later on if you want to filter it out. For instance, I record cybersecurity videos. I do automation videos. I'm getting into home automation. I do PowerShell scripting, Python code, all that stuff. So this will help me kind of break it down further and define what kind of video idea I have. So maybe this day I want to record this certain video type. I could go ahead and filter it out and look for this tag or this label. Here's a way to set priority, due dates, which is another thing. Main thing I want to kind of go after here is I want to be able to set due dates so I could kind of have a schedule as to when I'm going to do these tasks. Reminders, repeating intervals, set progress, add attachments, add relations. So if you get another task, you could kind of attach the two. We can move it, which we don't really need to do because it's going to stay within this project. Anyway, add to favorites, set color, doesn't really matter, and then we'll go ahead and back out of that. So now we have our video number 1, which is in that color, and it is due in 4 days. Along the top, we also have the various options. We have tables, lists, and the I think it's Gantt. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that either. But here, if we wanted to, once we get to it, let's say we come in, we check out our ideas, video idea number 1, and I like this idea. Goes into the recording stage, edit stage, upload stage, and then we do another one that complete. And then we could also filter it out. So let's say if we didn't want to, or if we wanted to see any of the ideas that were cybersecurity, like I said, go in here in cybersecurity, and now we would see that. And then obviously you could see that we do not see video idea number 2. And then we could just go ahead and clear out that. We could also sort it by dates, due dates, reminders, end date, priorities. And go ahead and clear filters, put this back to where it was. And that's pretty much it. All right, and that's going to close out today's video. Fairly straightforward, very quick, easy process. Within a matter of minutes, we were able to install an open source free project management solution. And here you could see just a few things that you could do with it. In the next video, we are going to compare the two. So this one compared to the open project solution, which is another project management solution that is free and available for you to use. And in that video, we are going to discuss the various features and see what best fits my needs, and hopefully that would help you find what is best for your needs. So with that being said, I hope you were able to take something away. If you have any questions, as I did go through this pretty quickly, please drop a comment and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. And as always, never stop learning.